Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again in this YouTube segment. I'm going to be talking about being alone on Valentine's Day. First thing off, though, I'd like to wish everyone out there that celebrates this happy Valentine's Day. Good for you if you have a significant other. Not everybody has one of those, including myself. I will be spending, this Valentine's Day. Um, Alone again, and people will often preach and say, well, no one's ever really alone, but those people that say that often have a significant other. They have someone to spend Valentine's Day with. Now, Valentine's Day, I understand it's not, really perceived as a significant holiday. I believe it's a man-made holiday. It's not seen as important as, say, like Christmas or Thanksgiving. You have, businesses close often on Christmas and Thanksgiving as an example. But, Valentine's Day could be, I mean, for some people, it may actually have certain significance. What hurts for me in this is that, the social media and the internet, I mean, it's one of the, maybe the greatest things ever invented, but in some cases it can be to one's detriment because I'll be going on my feed and I'll see other people having, maybe celebratory moments on Valentine's Day, and they'll be showing, be so elated and happy and have their, friends, whatever, or they have their loved one, with them, the significant other or what have you. And the thing about it is, I mean, I understand I'm not the only one that's by the, his or herself on this day. And I want to say, to those out there that see this video and, that if you're celebrating this alone, you're not the only one. There's certain misconceptions about me, I believe. Even someone I had talked to in fairly recent times, she stated to me, that she said she thought I basically had the whole kit and caboodle. I had, like a family, and I was established and had, good, I guess you could say, like stature in life and social status or what have you. But that's far from the truth. I've had extensive nerve damage to my arms, as many of you, may have heard in previous videos I've had, and that has prohibited me from really doing, making a substantial income where I could achieve a greater social status and stature in life, where I would have more of an ability, opportunity to attract the right, woman that was going to be for me. So this is another holiday in which I spend alone. It's ironic. It was 8 years ago that roughly it might have been either on Valentine's Day or the day before that I had, I had known some woman on the internet, and I felt like, the connection was going to evolve and escalate. But, we had a rift over something, over, having, some time on Valentine's Day, and she adamantly refused to spend the time with me on this day, and it's about 8 years to this day that, it's nothing really celebratory, but it's ironic because it's about 8 years, almost on the nose, that this happened with me and her, and we had a disconnect because of that, unfortunately, because I felt like I needed, if you wanted to have a relationship with me, there was going to have to be some time that would be spent with me, on that day, and she didn't want to do that. She wasn't even going to grace me like a 5 or 10 minute phone call. So, I was like, whatever, and then we moved forward. But the thing about this is, and if you do have, those of you out there that do have, somebody, out there, be very grateful for it. And even, I mean, most people that are together are going to be fairly compatible, but even if, your partner, has, a few idiosyncrasies or something, try to deal with it the best you can, because it's not always easy to go and pick up the pieces and just find somebody else. If that person, you have a disconnect with that person, if you eradicate the connection with that person, it's not always, easy to move forward. And what hurts on a day like this is that I just don't really have many people in my life in general. I have Saturn in the 12th house, as many of you may know, which can indicate no difficulty in allowing people into one's life. Could be very reclusive tendencies. I have a preponderance of planets on the bottom half of the chart, which can indicate a more introverted nature as opposed to being extroverted and gregarious. So there's certain things in my chart which do indicate more of, about being by oneself. But what I want to state is, people, again, have gratitude, be grateful if you do have somebody. Those out there that don't have anybody, are, you're not the only ones, and I do hope and pray that you find, somebody for you. If that's what you desire. Some people are more content on being alone, and they do thrive more on that, circumstance, that situation, then that's, what they do. But for those of you that are yearning to have somebody else, a significant other in your life, I do hope and prayerfully you will find somebody soon. And I know it's not a lot of fun because, the internet, as I was stating before, social media can be one of, it's been very advantageous to people, but it can be negative as well, because unfortunately, for those that don't have anybody to have celebrate Valentine's Day, they don't have that significant other to do that with. They'll see, on their feed, other people, they're having their celebratory moments on Valentine's Day. They're happy and jocular, and they show, the love that is between them and the other person. Now, I could be happy for those people to some degree, but at the same time, it gives a sad reminder of what we don't have. And the internet I believe, can cause certain despondency, even depression, for those reasons. And the thing too is, and if you're going to write me, please don't write me anything derisive or real negative and saying I'm having pity party and this and that. See, pity parties happen anyway when people feel that they don't have much compassion granted toward them. There's been a lot of, I had a number of videos up, about, I was trying to, situate myself and find some stable residence, and you could see I'm still here, the same place, and, very few people even bothered to respond. I know people out there had potential for something for me firsthand, but they just, what happens is I think the internet too has made people a lot colder. We don't really express, the empathy and compassion collectively as maybe we did before the internet era. We're just out of touch as human beings, unfortunately. And if I got the same amount, of people that told me that they had some place for me to stay, as I had the people that were writing critical, emails to me regarding, whether, I'm not loud enough, or I need some modular adjustment, or I don't have comments enabled, I would be sitting pretty. I would be doing very well if I even had half of the people that wrote me critical emails. If I had half of those, and if I had half the people, I'm sorry, I should say, if I had half the people respond to me in regarding having a living situation for me, as I did the emails that were connected with critical remarks, I would be doing very well right now. But unfortunately, there was that song, was it by the Rolling Stones, you can't always get what you want. But it is what I needed, and I still didn't get it. And people might think, well, just, because I have certain popularity on, YouTube, that automatically I'm going to get the results, and people are going to be clamoring for, they're going to be excited, say, yeah, I could help you, Edwin, but that just doesn't always happen that way. What you think would happen logically does not always transpire, unfortunately. And the thing is, we have to keep in mind, because I want to get back, because writing me something negative is not going to help matters. It's just going to add insult to abject misery. Basically, it's like someone complaining they have some kind of weak airflow in their car, but they keep clogging the cabin air filter up. I think I'm saying that right. I'm not exactly one that is, Mr. Automotive or what have you. But the thing is, nobody should really have to be alone at this time. And it's sad. I've been on this, on our planet for almost 54 years. And, the reality is I've had very few Valentine's Day where some women really thought I was worth the trouble to spend it with. So I tell people, just because you see me on YouTube and I do astrology videos, I've attained certain popularity doing it, doesn't mean that I have somebody in my life, or even have many people that really give a crud about me. I mean, if they do, I don't always know about it. I'm not telepathic. I can't. I mean, Uranus will be entering Gemini maybe in the near future. I mean, at some, I don't know, depends on what you call the near future. I don't know if it's 2 years, a year and a half, but maybe people will be communicating more telepathically then. But at the present time, if I don't really know it, it doesn't matter to me. If it's not actually stated in some message or what have you, I'm not going to know who out there is really thinking of me, or really concerned. Concern is more through the actions for me anyway. Actions speak louder than words. And you could write and say, oh, I feel bad for you, Edwin, this and that, but what good does that really do? That doesn't resolve it. It resolves nothing. And I'm looking more for the solutions at this time, and I just have to hope that maybe I do due diligence, and whether, even if it's just going online and going to some kind of dating site, if I have to find somebody that way, it's still something, and I can make some progress in moving toward finding a situation where I have a significant other on the holidays, because I don't feel like I really deserve to be alone. And the reality is, though, in life, you just never know. It's not always about what's deserved or what's not deserved. It's not about what's fair. And certain people have certain bad breaks that happen to them, and a lot of times it's just very hard to resolve their situation based on that. It bothers me when people say things like, oh, life is what you make of it. Okay. As far as the basic fundamental statement, yes, okay, one can argue that's a very valid point. But, not everybody has, extensive and at this point irrevocable nerve damage, which prohibits them from doing many things which could actually give the potential to create a more substantial income, and be able to have and be able to attract a significant other in one's life that one may crave. So you can, I can't also, because of those physical related issues, I can't engage in most sports, vigorous sports activity I can't engage in. So it takes a lot of recreation out for me. So and I can't even play video games, because I know the repetitive motion, with the joysticks, whatever. If you go to like some arcade, if they still exist, it'll re-aggravate or exacerbate the problem. So really what this has done is it's taken a lot of my options out. It's not that I limited myself. It's not about self-sabotage. It's the fact that the injuries have limited me. A lot of people don't really know that. They think, a lot of people think that what I've done is self-sabotage, so I've limited myself. No, what's happened is I can't do a lot anymore, because I don't have the physical faculties at this point to do what I once was able to do when I was very young. And also the fact that I'm an older person now, and some people would see me as an old man. I'm going to be 54 July 1st. And the thing is, that doesn't help matters either. I know my best days are behind me. But what I want to state is, I do wish those out there, again, happy Valentine's Day. Embrace what's here. Embrace the moment. If you have somebody to celebrate with, more power to you. I wish you the best at this time. But keep in mind that not everybody has that ability, or has that love in their life. Unfortunately, we're in a very superficial and materialistic society, which certainly doesn't help matters, and it makes it harder, especially for somebody like me, to actually have somebody at this time. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.